Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats.
You know, it's a common misconception out there that real poignant change in the world comes from these large and grandiose events and acts, but in fact, it's the tiniest little thing that can really make a difference. And if you're within the sound of my voice, that must mean you are in the seats with once more. As always, my name is Dave Voigt, and I am the host of this podcast, where we sit down with a wide-ranging variety of industry professionals and pick their brains about current projects, the state of the industry, whatever else comes to mind in a very sort of light and conversational fashion. It's how we do it over here, and it's how we like to do it. And if you'd like to subscribe to this podcast, we hope that you do because you're listening to it. You can do that over at Spotify, over at Apple, or you can find every single one of our episodes archived at our YouTube channel. Also, we'd love it if you'd follow us on social media. You can do that over at Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at either at In the Seats or at It's Podcast One. And finally, and most importantly, come pay us a visit over at In the Seats, intheseats.ca, where it all began, and our hardworking team is cracking away morning, noon, and night on movie news, reviews from festivals and VOD and theatrical where there is theatrical, and streaming and anything else in between, all across the globe, because we love it all that much, and we try to present as diverse a portrait of the cinematic landscape as we possibly can. And in doing that, it's an awkward, but it's a nice segue into this episode. Because on this episode, we are talking about a wonderful documentary that has been entered into the Slamdance Film Festival, which is going to be on from February 12th until the 25th. And it's a really inspirational story. It's called A Tiny Ripple of Hope. It's about this young man, Jahmal Cole, lives and works on the segregated south and west sides of Chicago, and he started an organization called My Block, My Hood, My City, in hopes of bringing opportunity and hope to teenagers, and just to try to get the community moving and do very small but really relevant things to engage everybody on a personal level and make everyone make people feel good about themselves and empowered, and it's a beautiful thing. But he loves it so much. It's a year in his life, and we see as he struggles to keep his organization going, because he basically uses his the mortgage on his home to fund his organization, and things get a little dicey. But he's a remarkable guy, and we got to talk to him, and we got to talk to the filmmaker behind this film, Jason Polevoi, about just sort of the inspiration of the film, and how they keep these kind of things going, and how the film will sort of aid in the cause that Jahmal is working so hard on. And I think it will, because it's a fantastic film, and I hope you get to check it out at some point, because it is doing its festival run right now. But I hope, more importantly, that you enjoy our talk with Jason and Jahmal, because they are two very interesting guys. All right, so you guys good for 15 or 20?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Yep. All right. Well, obviously, first off, just congratulations on the film, and thank you so much for the time today. I mean, I really love the film, and I was really struck by it. And I mean, I guess my first question is for you, Jason. When were you first introduced to Jahmal's story, and how did the ball get rolling on making a film?
I read this news story in a now defunct local news organization here in Chicago about My Block, My Hood, My City back in 2015. And that was really early on after Jahmal had started it. And I was into it, and I bought a t-shirt and a hoodie because that's how the program was primarily funded back then. But I wanted to do as much as I could beyond just, sending them some cash. So I had a show at the time here in Chicago, a food show called Chicago's Best. And I booked Jahmal and some of the teens in his program for the show. And afterwards, we were talking a bit, and he told me that he wanted to host a travel show. And I said, like, you're already the busiest person I've ever met. You don't want to host a travel show. I said, but what would you think about me doing a documentary about you and some of the kids in your program? And so we started having serious conversations about that at the end of 2016, and started filming in 2017.
Excellent. Now, I mean, how were you, Jahmal, just in terms of being a part of this? Because, I mean, especially when it comes to a documentary, I mean, obviously you'll want to show all the positive stuff that's going on, but at the same time, you have to allow sort of the moments where you don't necessarily want a camera in your face happening at the same time. How was the process for you? How did he pitch you on sort of doing this film?
Yeah, I had seen like Cory Booker's documentary like 10 years prior. So I saw him struggle on his way to like running for office. So I knew I was going to struggle and I wanted to be vulnerable and show that. But I didn't know how much I would struggle. And I also thought I could hide a lot of things from Jason and I could just prepare answers, right? But he would always like capture the stuff where the inter-between stuff. I was like, I didn't even practice that. And you just caught it. I was always mad at him. Like, how'd you capture that, bro? I didn't want to project that. I didn't want to show that to the world. But he has a way of getting me to talk and getting me out my shell. But at the same time, man, I'm so proud that I was strong enough to put that out there because I want, hopefully, my struggles of life, allow people to find the truth for themselves. So.
The documentary, the secret for the documentary filmmaker is that he doesn't turn the camera off. So I'll tell you that one now. And I mean, it's one of these films that, I mean, to see sort of the highs and lows that you went through, but just sort of the dedication to sort of community involvement, which is one of those things that, I mean, I'll admit I'm Canadian and I live in upper middle class, fair, gentrified neighborhood. So I don't necessarily see a lot of that, but I like, how important has it been, especially from a community level, just to sort of get people engaged, get people out there, even with something as simple as Jason and I were talking before you came on about shoveling the snow when it starts to snow outside.
Yeah, it's everybody wants to get involved and they don't know how. So it's like shoveling snow is like low hanging fruit. And if you do something simple like shovel snow or deliver some water in a heat wave, you create a tiny ripple of hope. She creates a ripple of hope on her block. I create a ripple, but together that's a wave of change. And so I'm just a simple thinker. So I live in Chatham, and when it snows, there's 70% seniors that need help. And so when I became overwhelmed, I just went to Twitter and said, "Hey, Chicago, I need some help shoveling. I got some shovels and some hot chocolate and some hoodies. Meet me at the Red Line on 79th." And everybody showed up. And from there on, it was just now. I don't even have like programs per se with my block, my hood, my city. I just my best asset or my team's best asset is our agility. So we create initiatives based upon whatever's happening in society. So if there is a snowstorm, we mobilize shovelers. If there's a heat wave, we deliver things to seniors. Through this pandemic, we were able to serve 8,000 seniors in 12 different states with PPE and connecting them to primary. Ain't no programs or grants for that. They ain't no, but you serve, right? When the communities got looted last summer, we raised $1 million in one day to deliver $7,500 grants to businesses, right? There's no program for that. We just keep our ear to the streets and we respond, take direct action at the block level. We're like the Red Cross, right, for the neighborhoods. That's how I like to think of us.
Well, it's a beautiful thing, but I mean, I've got to imagine, Jason, from your perspective, it creates some challenges as well, because I would imagine to be able to capture everything, you would have to be, it feels like the wrong word, but embedded with Jahmal almost 24/7 to be able to make sure that you get the stuff that you want to get.
Yeah, I mean, it was hard because we are kind of like the definition of indie filmmakers.
Right.
It was guerrilla filmmaking. It was run and gun. It was not even low budget. It was no budget. And we all had to work full-time jobs while we were making this film. So there were moments that we weren't able to capture because we couldn't be with him 24/7. And that's hard. And that was a struggle of post-production trying to fill in those gaps. But, I don't think even if I had unlimited resources, I could keep up with Jahmal. The man does not sleep. And I have told him this before, that he needs to sleep. But he's, I mean, and this is part of it. People think he has unlimited resources because they see him everywhere on the news all the time in all these different neighborhoods doing all these things. And they assume, oh, well, he must be rich. He must have all these people working for him. And that was kind of the impetus for making this film, is to say, like, no, he doesn't. He works harder than everyone else. That's how he does it. But look at all these things he has to sacrifice in order to do that.
And I mean, I'm curious from your perspective, Jahmal, what was the big, I guess, key message that you wanted to get across through this film? Because I mean, as we see, you push yourself to the point of almost ruin trying to sort of build up your block in your community.
Yeah, I wanted it to be like a resume to where I'm going. You know, I just want people to know that my best quality is my integrity and trying to be noble. And so where I'm going to be going in the future, I want to just put my resume on the line and see what we've built in Chicago. And also, man, I'm here to inspire hope. Like, that's what I'm good at, bro. That's the only thing that God's like. I wish I made an Uber app, right? I wish I was a rap. Good at is like, it's showing people that, hey, man, if I can struggle and make it, you can too. Disappointments ain't reserved for you. Disappointments ain't reserved for you on 79th Street. It rains on people in the suburbs too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And persevering, I think that inspires people, because I'm regular. I'm not the smartest person, right? I'm not the most handsome person. I don't have the most money or connections, but I'm diligent. I persevere, and that's my purpose. God's got a battery in me.
Do you think that's how you make real change in society, just by going for that low-hanging fruit? Because I mean, especially with people sort of on the outside looking in, like, oh, we've got to change the world, we got to do this, we got to do this, and it's like, oh, it's too big a job, we can't do it. But you have to start somewhere and then just not stop.
Yeah, exactly. Things change when you change too. I mean, it gets better when you get better, so you have to work harder on yourself too. But I feel like, yeah, man, once you start showing up on your block, the universe starts pulling people to you. And once they see you care, then they're gonna, I don't know how it works, don't even take the class on how it works, but if you want to be on the good side of the way things work, start something. Just start. And when you do that, somebody's gonna pull up in the car and say, hey, like, do you live next door? Yeah, I live next door. I'm having a block club meeting too. You should, like, it happens. But if you stay in your head the whole time thinking about, making change, it's gonna take forever, man.
Now, I'm curious about both your perspectives on this, but through history, like, there's a rich history of really compelling documentary films that come out of Chicago and stories that have come out of Chicago. What is it, from both of your perspectives, why we get these really sort of interesting, humanistic, and very compelling stories that can be applied worldwide out of the city of Chicago?
Yeah, I mean, Hoop Dreams is what inspired me to be a filmmaker. Like, the first time I saw Hoop Dreams, I saw a world that was so close to me that I did not understand. And I was like, how can this be so close to me? And I have no comprehension that this is even happening. And that's what made me want to explore and be a filmmaker and be a documentary filmmaker, especially here in Chicago. And I think, unfortunately, part of the reason a lot of really compelling stories come out of Chicago is because the national media impression of Chicago, international media, you're in Canada, the international impression of Chicago is that it's a violent, dangerous place full of thugs. And that's just not the reality of the situation. I mean, obviously the world isn't black and white, but even in the 10 or 11 communities in Chicago that are the most dangerous, you find really incredible people that have value the same way that people in the white communities have. Mm-hmm. And, I think the real triumph of what Jahmal is doing is the interconnectivity aspect of it, which is making people from the white neighborhoods care about the people from the black neighborhoods and care about the people from the brown neighborhoods. And it doesn't come across in the film because you have to really understand Chicago. But in the scene where Jahmal rallies volunteers to shovel snow for seniors in his neighborhood in Chatham on the South Side, the fact that he got white people to go down to Chatham and to not be afraid and to do something that means nothing to them, but means the world to the people living down there. That's amazing. Like, that is real change in Chicago right there. Getting people in, Lincoln Park to care about people in Chatham, that's an accomplishment. And I think those types of stories are what makes Chicago like a really compelling, a compelling kind of subject for documentary.
No, yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And I mean, it goes down to a real core essence of, I guess, even storytelling in general, because at the end of the day, people want to know about people. And
Mhm.
if you're giving these sort of really sort of dynamic and interesting stories and putting them out there will be things where people can relate to and people can pull from. And I'm kind of curious from both your perspectives, where do we find, I guess, maybe that the global compassion or the global impetus to just make those small steps to get to know about our neighbor, or to make the small gesture of kindness towards someone else that can ripple forward and sort of make real change in the world?
Yeah, man. Everybody. Where can we find that? I think it's inside of all of us. I just think we're so busy with our lives, man. Everybody got something to do. I got this to do. I got that to do. And we think that we don't realize that by us helping out, we're getting more. I think that people think it's like a big effort for you to go volunteer. You actually get more out of it. It inspires you to do more in your life. But I think we need to flip that. And so, and also, again, Chicago, man, to answer your other question, is like, it's not designed for everybody to be inspired. It's ridiculous. Like, it's hard to be inspired when you have to order your food through bulletproof glass windows every day. That ain't inspirational. It's not inspirational when all the billboards say cheap divorces. You go to Burger King and it's like $25 divorce in the window, like $6,000 tax advances. There's 15 currency exchanges, no banks. The funeral homes are marketing Louis Vuitton caskets in the windows and the Gucci caskets that light up at night. That ain't inspirational. And so, I feel like that's why Chicago, to me, is the stage, because there's all this type of stuff that's not regular that we've become desensitized to, and people they don't even notice it, the gunshots anymore. I saw a girl drop a piece of gum in the middle of a shootout and went back to get the Jolly Ranchers. Life wasn't even worth for Jolly Rancher, So it's just like, bro, that ain't regular. And so, but anyway, that's how I do it, man. I just lead by example, and I try to, I just try to show up. Like, it's a snowstorm right now, I'm gonna go show up, and then people are gonna show up. Bro. That's just, I don't know. That's how I do it.
Will you guys at some point be able to show this film in communities as a part of outreach, just in terms of to get people sort of inspired and motivated?
Yeah, I mean, that's the hope. The hope is that as many people see this as possible. We're doing the film festival thing for a while. We have a great sales team. Hopefully it gets onto a platform where everyone can see it. But we also have an impact producer. And it's her job to find the people and the partners and the places where seeing this film is going to make like an actual tangible difference in people's lives. And not just on the south side or west side of Chicago or north side of Chicago, but like what are the communities that can benefit from Jahmal's message that aren't seeing him every day?
For sure. All right, now I've got a silly question to ask, because I like to try to mix it up. But if somebody was making a film of a tiny ripple of hope of making if someone was making a film about making the documentary, Jason, who would play you? Jahmal, who would play you?
I know who I'd want to play Jahmal, because me and my partners have talked about it. We want Michael B. Jordan to play Jahmal.
Oh, wow. Then Jason, who I think you would be? I don't know, man. I think you're like I don't even know many directors, but I would say like Martin Scorsese or something like that. I would say, because you I don't know. It's just everything is just different than anything else. I don't know. It's, first of all, you're high quality. Like, all your stuff is like, it looks really good. Like, you don't cut any corners. So that's amazing. and I've worked with a ton of video people, but your stuff is quality, man. And also, and one other thing, bro, you actually relate to people, which is like, I think it helps everybody because everybody can open up. You don't judge people. Like you're not, I think we're friends, you know what I mean? So it was more like, you were able to coach me through some things and mentor me through some things and still do that. So I don't know. That's what I would say. Martin Scorsese, bro. Yeah.
How do you both think, I would say, the power of, I mean, I don't want to say film in general, but sort of the visual medium of storytelling and getting this stuff out there will be impactful, like especially on a boots on the ground level in terms of something simple like going out and shoveling the snow, because it's snowing in Chicago right now. So
it's coming down, man. Bro, I'm so surprised that it's caught on. I'm just as shocked as anybody else. Like I did not expect people to. I always thought that I'd like, have to change a policy or something like that. You know what I mean? Like have to do something like on a policy level. But this is just on a philosophical level. Like, hey, let's just what's what you can do. So maybe it's because I've gone about it like that that it's because even politicians say, bro, I shovel snow too, Jamal, but I just don't do it with a camera. But I'm just like, well, like you've raised millions of dollars for stuff for campaigning, though. You know what I mean? Like it's just like you could have bought a camera if you wanted to, too, bro. So that's everybody wants to. It's the on ramp to engagement, man. Who cares how people get involved? We're the on ramp, and so I like that we get people moving, and then that's how stuff gets started.
And the visual medium aspect of it. Jamal's always been really good about video long before like we ever met. Because like when people can see something, they're more likely to do it. If they see a big group of people from all over the city, like coming together to do something and everyone's happy and everyone's triumphant and, it's much easier to say, yeah, I'm going to do that next time than if you like read a story in the newspaper. Like we're bringing life to these things that are happening. And that is going to be a much, I think like a much more effective tool than like an article would be or a tweet or whatever.
No, and you're absolutely right. I mean, Jamal is a great subject, especially on the film. Just to boil it down to the real humanistic aspect of the entire thing that you're trying to do, just people doing right by people. And I mean, I think that's the magic of A Tiny Ripple of Hope, because it's not trying to present it as this grander than life ideal. It's just about engagement and getting out there and being halfway decent to one another. And I just want to say thank you again for the time and congratulations to you both on the film.
Thank you.
I love how. Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
All right.
Appreciate you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye, Annie.
Thank you so much, Dave.
And don't forget to visit our friends over at Bay Street Video for all your DVD, Blu-ray rental, or purchasing needs this summer, as they are still open for curbside and some mailing delivery as well. Over at 1172 Bay Street, Toronto, Ontario, Canada, you can give them a call at 416-964-9088. That's 416-964-9088. Or send them an email at baystreetvideoto@gmail.com for any of your DVD and Blu-ray needs.